when I was reading about computer languages, and that there was this language called Ada, and this was a kind of enigma, and you have to imagine at this time there was no Wikipedia to check, you know. And then I think around the same time, because I knew there was a language C, language Ada, and this biography came out by Dorothy Stein, and at this time I think the title was Ada Byron, and so it's 88, something like this, and I was totally fascinated because I had I was very much into biographical work, which was also a kind of reaction in the 80s against, I grew up with conceptual art and things that were minimal art, things that were more detached from narrative and biography. And so and also I had some female heroes like Marie Curie and Rosa Luxemburg and Louise Brooks. But then when I discovered Ada, I saw, wow, I identified very much. I don't know why. Maybe I loved the fact that her father was this, famous writer. At this time, he was much more famous than, she's maybe more famous now than he is, you know? She will be. I think in the future she will be, you know? But at that time, she was, I mean, people were interested because she was the daughter of Lord Byron. Like in the 80s, Lord Byron was still, I think, maybe, I don't know. And so I was totally fascinated, and because my father was a programmer, I think to find a female figure connected to computer, and also maybe more specifically to language, to programming, and so this was very, also because I grew up drawing as a child on computer paper. I was lucky to see the first big machines, to see the tapes, all that, you know, and I think I thought, wow, this is an extraordinary figure, you know, like I need to, it was, I think, maybe a bit in the same way that I have now sometimes this strong urge with these apparitions and characters, and I felt Ada needs to be present, and what's her voice and what would be the best way to tell her story. And because at this time I was also very much into some kind of meta art and art about art, I thought, wow, a perfect loop. I mean, at this time it struck me like a perfect loop is to tell Ada's story in Ada language. Although it's the end, the thing you see is a video with text and colored backgrounds. It has a soundtrack, but I would say it's still somehow very much in this conceptual continuity, like the context in which I grew up. But I worked with a programmer to make it accurate in terms of, so it's not, me myself, I don't know coding and I'm not a scientist, but I'm into literature and language, so I wanted it to be accurate in terms of, it's really Ada language. And so I worked with a programmer, not my father. He was into other languages, but not, but also I was in contact with Ishbia, who invented the language. So I thought about the structure, which is it's very basic, like it's a series of what in French you call carton, when you have a black and white movie. It goes back, I would say, in a way to almost to very early movies, you know, like, because it has something very basic. Well, I was not a gamer, but I knew games, and also because I was reading a lot of this, British magazines like Face and ID, and it was all this aesthetic. But I don't think I thought of a game. I wanted it I wanted it at the same time to be serious and emotional. This is where the music also plays a part. The music is more like it has some emotional, like when, for example, the moment where it's about her death, the music turns. So the music is playing this, part that it plays into movie to bring, but then otherwise it's very simple. I'm not totally sure how I can't totally remember how I selected the colors, the backgrounds. And the version that is here, I don't know if because we did an English version. The original version is in French. The original version is more difficult to read because, of course, at this time to generate text, it's more pixelized. And so now it's a bit more readable. And the English version is new, but it's absolutely the same. At this time, I did two. There was also a kind of homage to Alan Turing. There was also a biography that I loved also in the 80s, but he was also like, this biography was in a scientific collection, and he was not the major. I think by now, Ada and Alan, they're like maybe the most important, like the parent couple of the whole, in a way, I got all this material from my father in a way, so there's a kind of father-daughter transmission, but it's but reversed because I was more on the artistic side and he gave me this kind of scientific but in open way side. So there is this thing. But also, I see like some younger artists that are very much into craft, ceramics, painting, and totally rejecting whether it's the using objects ready-made or even the kind of technology. So there is a total total switch, I would say. I think a lot of art is much more reaction than you think. Is in a teenager way, like. But this is the beauty of it, Yeah, it's actually I'm not going to, like it was like me, like there was all this expressionist painting, and I was thinking, what, I want to go another way, and a lot of art is very. How to say, doesn't say much about people, what they feel, how they love, what they, and I thought, okay, I want to combine all these things, and so this became Ada in Ada.